So I see a lot of content on social media about the difficulty of being a single parent. And being a single parent is difficult. I am not going to try to gaslight anyone and say something different. You know, some of these videos I see, the women have tears in their eyes, they have pain in their voice, and many of them express being at their wits' end. And I understand. I also see people who will pull the clips of people in these vulnerable moments, and they will sit and watch the videos and critique the videos and pass judgment. And a lot of times that judgment is laid solely at the feet of the women. Very rarely do I see critique of the other parent, of the person who's not there or the person who's not visible. That is not fair. So this video is not about any of that. I do want to speak to people who are single parents, whether you are a woman or a man. I want to speak to you. And I just want to offer hope via a couple tips that can help you on your journey. So the first thing, or the first tip, is to remember that this is a season. Seasons come and go. Seasons do not last. Now, some seasons are longer than others. And certainly when you are raising a child, that is a long season, but your children will not be in any particular stage forever. Your children won't be children forever. They will indeed grow up. When we were younger, our parents divorced when I think I was like 4 or 5. But I remember my mom would look at us and say, you all aren't going to be kids forever. And that is true. And it's the same with your children. And so as you're thinking about raising your kids, think about what you want to invest in them, not just while they're young, but what you want them to have as an adult. So what seeds do you want to plant so that they can bloom when they're adults? But also remember that, it is a season. And what that means is that you focus on where you are, and you focus on where you are at that particular season without jumping ahead. It can be tempting when you have a child, especially if it's a young child, to think, oh my gosh, I have 18 more years, or I have 19 more years, or 21 more years. I don't recommend that approach. As tempting as it is, I recommend that you think about where you are now and what you need for that season right now. When you have the capacity, the emotional capacity, the mental capacity, then you can think about, okay, what do I want for the future and how do I get there? But start with thinking about today and what you need today. And then, like I said, when you have the capacity, think about, okay, well, what do I need down the line? But if you start and you think, okay, I have 18 more years to go, in some ways that can be very defeating, and it can be very deflating, especially if you are struggling. Now, my next tip is to do something when you find yourself going through a difficult situation in parenting, right? Do something that will make your future self happy. I remember years ago, my son was probably a preteen, or either he was an early teen, but someone said something horrific to me. I mean, it was completely horrific, and I was pretty discouraged. And I remember staying up all night thinking about the relationship that was so difficult, and also the things that this particular person said to me. And I couldn't sleep. And in that moment, I had this thought, okay, what can I do to shift my attention, or what can I do to make myself feel good? You want to know what I did? I started a college fund for my son. And so I didn't remember how much money I had at the time, but it could not have been much. But I started that college fund, and I went from thinking about what this person said to me to thinking about, here is money that I am putting aside for my son. I don't think it was more than $100, but I started this fund, and that gave me something that I could be proud of in that moment, right? And it also gave me something to feel like I could work towards, is, saving a little bit of money each time I had money for his college. And so I did something that would make my future self happy, or future self proud. And then, the final tip is to remember that God gave you your children for a reason. You may not have what other people have. Your journey may not look like the next person's journey, but that does not mean that your journey, and that your life, your child's life, that there isn't value. There is immense value. And you don't have to take your value, or how you feel about yourself, or how you feel about your children, based on what people on social media or people who are not for you say, right? And so remember that your children are a gift, They're a gift to the world, but they're also a gift to you, but you are a gift to them. And so you don't have to be perfect. Perfection is not required. Our kids need presence, they need consistency, they need stability, but they're not looking for perfection. They want to know that you love them and that you are for them, right? And so if you can focus on those three things, one, remembering that it is a season, it is a long season, but it is a season. And if you can think about, okay, what can I be today that would make my future self proud? And then if you can remember that there is a gift that your children have for you, and there's a gift that you have for them. And your life should be thinking about what are those gifts and how do you ensure that you are showing up and giving them what they need, and also recognizing the gifts in them. If you like this content, please be sure to subscribe. You can also leave a positive comment. Thanks for listening.